They called her ugly before she ever learned the weight of the word, whispered it first behind closed doors and then said it aloud once they realized. She had learned to keep her eyes lowered and her mouth shut, a thin, sharp-faced girl born on a struggling frontier homestead, where beauty was treated like currency and mercy was scarce. And when her younger sisters arrived with soft curls and bright smiles, the verdict was sealed. She was the wrong kind of child in the wrong kind of world. Her nose too sharp, her hair too wild, her silence too heavy, and so they sent her away under the excuse of helping distant kin, though everyone knew it was banishment, a slow erasing of a daughter who did not reflect the family's pride, and the wagon that took her westward rattled like a coffin, as dust swallowed the road behind her, each mile stretching the ache in her chest, until even crying felt like a luxury she could not afford. But the frontier has a cruel way of forging steel from discarded iron, and the ranch where she was left was harsh, lonely, ruled by a widowed aunt who valued labor over love, where dawn came with frostbitten hands and dusk arrived on aching knees. Yet in that unforgiving place she learned things no one had meant to. Teach her how to break a horse without breaking its spirit, how to mend fences with bleeding palms, how to read the land like scripture, and how to swallow pain until it turned into quiet strength. And years passed with the seasons carving her face into something stern and weathered, not pretty but honest. Until one autumn, a wounded cowboy rode onto the ranch trailing blood and trouble, a man known across the territory as a drifter with a sharp eye and a sharper gun. And when he collapsed from his saddle, it was she who dragged him inside, stitched his side with trembling hands, and stayed awake through the night listening to his fevered mutterings, unaware that fate had finally noticed her. Because when he opened his eyes, he did not see ugliness. He saw steadiness, a woman who did not flinch at blood or fear. And though he left weeks later with a quiet nod of thanks, something had shifted, not just in him but in her too, as if for the first time someone had looked at her without measuring what she lacked. And rumors soon followed. Bandits moving through the valley, ranches burned, families fleeing, and when danger finally came clawing at their own door, it was she who stood firm, rifle steady, heart pounding yet unbroken, proving that the girl they had sent away had become something far more dangerous than ugly. She had become capable, and as the chapter closes with her standing alone against the burning horizon, remember this moment, because this is where forgotten daughters become legends. And if you want to hear how her courage changes not only her fate, but the heart of the cowboy who returns for her, make sure you stay with this story and subscribe to the channel, because the frontier still has echoes left to tell. The cowboy returned under a sky heavy with storm clouds, drawn back by more than gratitude, pulled by a memory he could not shake, of a woman who had faced the world without asking it for kindness. And when he found the ranch scarred by fire and loss, her aunt gone and the land nearly abandoned, he feared he was too late, until he saw her riding hard across the plain, hair braided tight, posture straight as a drawn blade, and in that instant he understood that what the world had discarded had survived and sharpened itself, and together they faced the danger that followed him. Men who wanted his land, his past, his silence. But she did not shrink into the background as women were expected to do. Instead, she planned, tracked, and fought with a clarity that saved his life more than once. And in the quiet nights between gunfire and dust, she spoke little of her past, yet he listened anyway, learning how cruelty can be louder than violence, how being unloved leaves scars no bullet can match. And when her family returned years later, drawn by rumors of prosperity and courage, they did not recognize the woman before them, still searching for the ugly daughter they believed they had cast aside. But she did not beg for their approval nor rage for their regret. She simply stood beside the cowboy who had chosen her freely, not for beauty, not for blood, but for worth. And when the family saw how she was loved, how she commanded respect, how the land itself seemed to bend toward her, shame finally found them. But forgiveness was hers to give or withhold, and she chose peace instead of vengeance, closing the door on the past not with bitterness but with finality, because the greatest victory is living well without those who doubted you. And as the cowboy built a home with her on land reclaimed through sweat and courage, he called her his greatest treasure, not whispered, not hidden, but spoken proudly beneath the open sky. And the frontier echoed with a truth it had long ignored, that strength does not always arrive beautiful, that love often finds what cruelty abandons, and that the ones sent away sometimes return as the foundation of something greater than anyone imagined. And if this story of resilience, redemption, and quiet power moved you even a little, remember that many more untold frontier tales await you here. So subscribe to the channel, stand with the forgotten, and keep listening as the echoes of the frontier continue to rise from the dust.